everyone. I'm Tiziana Pasciuto, a research fellow at the University of Turin, and today I'll be presenting some of the digital aspects of the ERC-funded project I'm working on. The project's name is REDMIX project. But before we begin, let me to introduce today's agenda. We will start with a short introduction of the REDMIX project and the related work. Then we'll explore the requirements of the digital archive we want to realize, along with its technical and scientific challenges. Finally, I'll conclude with an operational workflow definition and a discussion of the future works. So, okay. For centuries, Red Sea has served as an important intersection connecting continents and cultures. While historians have examined its role in trade, politics, and economy, they have largely overlooked the stories of mixed ancestry communities that emerged from these cross-cultural encounters. The REDMIX project addresses this gap by studying the mixed ancestry groups in the Red Sea between the 1800s and the 2000s. The choice of this time range regards the increasing of movement and interaction during this period, particularly after the end of steam navigation and the opening of the Suez Canal. These relationships created communities such as Afro-Arabs, Afro-Asians, and Euro-Africans that are groups which are received little attention in historical research. REDMIX take an interdisciplinary approach combining African studies, Middle Eastern studies, critical mixed race studies, and digital humanities to investigate these histories. The project compiles archival materials and oral histories across Europe, Africa, and Middle East, using digital tools to analyze how mixed ancestry individuals and families navigated complex social hierarchies and contributed to regional history despite facing systemic challenges. The REDMIX project engages with a growing ecosystem of digital initiatives focused on preserving marginalized histories, while establishing its unique contribution through a transnational and interdisciplinary framework. Other projects share thematic or methodological connection with the REDMIX mission. For example, in the United Kingdom, the Mixed Museum documents mixed heritage narratives through community-centered approaches, focusing specifically on Britain's multiracial history and presenting visual collections. On the other hand, the case of Archivio Somalia and the Centro di Studi Somali at Roma Tre University had been vital in preserving and sharing Somali heritage, fostering research and community engagement. In fact, these initiatives aim to restore colonial-era documents to Somali communities, addressing historical gaps worsened by the 1991 civil war. Again, the National Digital Library of Eritrea, developed through the project to preserve and protect Eritrea's printed heritage, building the National Digital Library of Eritrea, coordinated by the University of Pavia under the leadership of Professor Massimo Zaccaria and the collaboration with the Research of Documentation Center of Asmara, has implemented innovative strategies for digitizing fragile historical materials in resource-constrained environments, demonstrating solutions for long-term preservation under difficult conditions. Last but not least, the project Portable Islam, Circulation, Materiality and Practices Attached to Swahili Literature in Arabic Scripts of the 20th Century Indian Ocean, coordinated by Anna Chiara Raya and hosted at Leiden University, employs digital methods to map networks of Islamic scholarship and cultural exchange that historical, transcendent political and geographical stages of the project will develop a digital archive to document and preserve the history of mixed ancestry communities in the Red Sea, filling a critical gap in existing archival collection. The digital archive, currently under development, will be built using open source software capable of collecting and preserving both metadata and diverse. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both metadata and diverse digitized sources, for example,
No problem.
photographs, videos, and documents. The archive will have to incorporate specialized digital tools for visualizing geographical data, genealogies, bibliographies, and other analytical representations. So, the REDMIX digital archive must prioritize accessibility to all users, ensuring usability for all researchers and community members, regardless of technological proficiency or internet connectivity limitations, while simultaneously addressing to multifaceted challenges of the digital divide that extend beyond mere hardware access to encompass digital literacy and resource availability. Significant challenges to consider arise from a project of this type. The project aims to go beyond creating a digital repository by developing a research tool designed to avoid Eurocentric biases. To achieve this, it enhances the adaptability of existing open source solutions through targeted programming interventions. So, the technical and scientific challenges we aim to address include building a technological infrastructure, ensuring a universal accessibility and usability, adopting standardized formats for long-term digital preservation, enabling efficient digitization and materials retrieval, providing accurate representation and contextualization, and supporting ethical standards with cultural sensibility. So let's look at this point in a little more detail. For a technological perspective, ensuring interoperability between the digital archive and the project website represents a fundamental requirement. The contexts in which it will operate are characterized by limited internet connectivity, so the digital archive must also be available offline. Moreover, the management of multilingual materials and text requires comprehensive support for non-Latin scripts and specific linguistic features. Regarding accessibility and usability, it is necessary to design an intuitive, accessible, and responsive user interface, even for users with slow connections or those accessing the archive from mobile devices, ensuring to support African languages and special characters. The selection of open file formats and standardized metadata schemas presents a critical challenge with direct implication for both system interoperability and long-term digital preservation. Given the quick evolution of digital formats, establishing appropriate standards from the project early stages become essential. Additionally, the large amount of data, metadata, and resources must be properly stored, and regular backups must be performed to prevent any kind of loss. A fundamental aspect of the project is the retrieval of resources and their subsequent digitization. In fact, many materials requiring digitization may exhibit physical fragility, deterioration, or suboptimal storage conditions. In some cases, challenging access conditions may require the deployment of portable and low-cost digitization equipment capable of producing high-quality digital resources. The last two points are representation and contextualization and ethics and cultural sensitivities. In fact, this project is also very important for carrying out action aimed at the decolonization of knowledge. The materials must be contextualized with historical, geographical, and cultural information to avoid perpetuating colonial narratives and to ensure a more inclusive representation of the Red Sea's histories. Finally, particular attention must be given to the ethical representation and sensitive materials, including those documenting traumatic events or holding sacred status within communities. This necessitates established protocols for obtaining informed consent from relevant stakeholders. Respecting cultural sensitivities and ethical consideration is fundamental for the project, ensuring not only the academic rigor but also the social responsibility. Despite these challenges, solutions are being actively pursued through existing technological frameworks and innovative approaches. Numerous open source tools, including DSpace and Zotero, present potential solutions currently under evaluation for the project implementation. Furthermore, while focusing on the unique context of the Red Sea mixed histories, methodological inspiration can be drawn from analogous digital archiving projects in other geographical and thematic domains. The digitization process, will benefit from international guidelines, which provides document best practices for working in resource-constrained environments. This technical documentation offers valuable frameworks for addressing the project-specific digitization challenges. Significant potential lies in the application of semantic web technologies, which are expected to enable sophisticated data linking and knowledge discovery. In fact, this technological approach promises to transform the archive from a static repository into a dynamic research tool, facilitating novel analytical connections across the cultural and collected materials. Implementation of these technologies will be prioritized in a subsequent development phases following an initial platform stabilization. So, to conclude and to sum up, the expected key development paths are evaluation and integration of suitable open source solutions, adaptation of the documented best practices for digitization, continuous benchmarking against comparable projects, and last but not least, the implementation of semantic technologies. So thank you for your attention and for waiting during my presentation. I'd be happy to take any question now or feel free to reach out by mail later. Thank you so much.